Well, today is Thanksgiving, and I want to send wishes for a happy Thanksgiving holiday for all members of our community. My name is Michael Santos, and I'm the founder of Prison Professors. We strive to teach and inspire people who are living in jails and prisons all across America. We know how difficult it is to spend time during the holiday seasons inside, and it's the reason that I wanted to personally send out my wishes to every member of our community. And also, since some of the people inside will not have access to our website at prisonprofessors.com, I also like to publish the letters that we write to them and produce it in video and audio format so that we could put it into our distribution channel and hopefully reach more people who are living in challenging times. And during today's, and I'm just going to switch over to our website link. And during today's reading, I'm just going to say that I know it can be hard to live in gratitude when we're in prison. So during the 26 Thanksgiving holidays that I spent in federal prison, I learned how to shrug off the negative and build strength by embracing the positive. And it's my hope that people who are members of our community will find some value in learning some of those strategies. I would love to take credit for myself for having developed them, but that wouldn't be accurate because I learned from leaders, and as you'll hear in this reading, I really want to share those lessons with as many people as possible. It's the one way I can repay others for all of the blessings that they gave to me in helping me through those challenging times. So I'm going to go ahead and read right now. While sending happy Thanksgiving wishes to all members of our community, I want to reveal how living in gratitude helped me, with the hopes that the same strategy can help each of you make it through this holiday season. I spent my first Thanksgiving in solitary confinement in a city jail back in 1987. I was 23 and didn't know what would transpire. The charges exposed me to the possibility of a life sentence. Clinging to delusions of liberty, I convinced myself that a jury wouldn't convict me. Instead of thinking about the best possible outcome, I lived in fantasy, hoping the troubles that followed from my past decisions would vanish. They didn't. I spent the second Thanksgiving at USP Atlanta. By then, I had lost in the trial and started moving deeper into a 45-year sentence. By then, I had learned about good time and understood that I could finish my sentence in 26 years. It was hard to put that time frame into perspective because I hadn't been alive that long. Philosophers inspired me. They taught me to stop thinking about my problems and to think about solutions that I could create. Like every other person, I hated being in prison. My girl decided to leave and go her own way. I didn't know what awaited me. Strength came from reading about others who had gone through tough times but emerged stronger. I used to spend time in the library reading about people who suffered. I came across the story of Mandela. Authorities locked Nelson Mandela in prison in 1964, the year that I was born. Despite the quarter century he had already served, stories I read described how he lived productively, always in the service of others. I found hope and inspiration when I read about how he served his sentence. He helped me believe that even though I would have to serve decades in prison, I could choose to create meaning out of the journey. In many ways, reading about Mandela and others helped me to feel thankful. They gave me both hope and direction. They helped me realize that even though I missed my family and the life I knew before prison, I could start rebuilding. The pathway would require me to take a series of steps. I had to visualize the best possible outcome as being something I could control rather than something the system would control. I had to think about the people I wanted to meet and influence in the future and the impact I wanted to have on society. I had to engineer a pathway that would help me work toward little micro steps that would lead me closer to the person I wanted to become. I had to put priorities in place, figure out what I would have to do first, and anticipate how the tiny accomplishments would open new opportunities. I had to create a playbook that would work for me and align with success as I defined it, regardless of what other people suggested that I should do. Once that plan became clear, I could start taking those micro steps. Each of those tiny steps empowered me because despite external factors, I could always work on myself, and I had a great deal of work to complete in personal development. With a plan, I no longer felt as though I was only waiting for days to turn into weeks, weeks to turn into months, or months to turn into years. Instead, I could live in gratitude, knowing that each day I could work on myself. I knew I would carve out a new future by working to become better. I remember seeing a picture that inspired me. An artist carved a statue known as the self-made man. The base of the statue is a simple block of marble. Emerging from the base, we see the torso of a man who holds a hammer in one hand and a chisel in the other. The hammer looks as if it is about to strike the chisel to mold the block of marble into the man he wants to become. Seeing a photograph of that statue gave me hope, and I felt grateful because it helped me believe that regardless of what bad decisions I made in the past, I could build something new. No one knows how hard I worked through the journey. Thanks to leaders like Mandela, Malcolm X, Viktor Frankl, Mahatma Gandhi, and so many others, I learned more about resilience. Those people inspired me to accept every day in prison as a gift. Even though I wasn't where I wanted to be, I could work on becoming the man I wanted to become. In November of 2012, I spent my last Thanksgiving as federal prisoner 16377-004. I was in the San Francisco halfway house. That was 10 years ago. Because leaders inspired me, opportunities opened. They helped me emerge differently from what the system or what others expected. The adjustment led newspapers to cover my return to society, and that media coverage opened opportunities to build a career. People wanted to know what it was like to return to society after a quarter century. The seeds I started to plant at the start of my journey made me feel productive. They allowed me to educate myself, build a body of work, and nurture a relationship with the love of my life, Carol, a woman who married me inside of a prison visiting room during my 16th year. We've now been married for 20 years. For all those blessings, I could live in gratitude. Now I have a duty and a responsibility. The duty requires me to repay those leaders by working to share with others the lessons that they taught me. The responsibility requires that I work to improve outcomes for all justice-impacted people. I consider it a privilege to do this work, and I am thankful that every day I served in prison put me in a position to do the work I am doing now. My wish for every member of our community is that they, too, find hope in learning from leaders. Sometimes, while living in prison, we need reminders of that hope, particularly during the holiday season. Try to live in gratitude. People out here care about you. We're working, taking micro steps to improve the outcomes of this system. We know the challenges that influence the lives of so many, and we are executing our daily plan to influence improvements. As Mandela taught me, it is a long walk to freedom. We will never ask anyone to do anything that we didn't do, and we will continue our efforts to make things better. With hopes for your happy Thanksgiving, I thank you for allowing our family at Prison Professors to be a part of your life. Sincerely, Michael Santos. Now, I wanted to send that message to so many people in prison because it can be really hard to be apart from the people you love and the people who love you. But that's what thousands and tens of thousands and millions of people are doing right now. They're locked inside of jails and prisons. Fortunately, we have this privilege of being able to communicate with them through our channel at Prison Professors. And if you're watching this while you're inside of a jail or a prison, I want you to be aware that there are seeds you can start sowing today that will empower you and make you grow stronger. As you see, I'm wearing this shirt right now from Hofstra University. I think you can see it on this thing. I mean, I can remember and I'm wearing this shirt because just a couple of weeks ago, while I was on a prison tour with my wife, going around the country and speaking in prisons, I also toured all of these universities that had an influence on my journey through prison. And I am grateful to these universities because they helped to shape my life. But now I have this duty to let you know, if you're in prison, you can work today, regardless of what the system is doing to improve your life. And I encourage you to reach out. Don't limit yourself to the walls that are holding you. I was locked inside of a solitary cell when I started writing those unsolicited letters to universities like Harvard and Yale and Princeton and University of Pennsylvania. And it was this university, Hofstra, that allowed me to work toward getting my master's degree. And it all started just by me writing that unsolicited letter. It gave me hope. And because of that hope, it led to new opportunities, even while I was crossing through 26 years in prison. Now, I hope that you're not serving that much time. I hope that you are creating a plan that regardless of what the system is doing, you are working to build a better outcome. Start sowing seeds today for a better outcome. You may not be able to control what a grand jury decided how to charge you. You may not be able to control how your lawyer influenced you to prepare, whether it's to plead guilty or go to trial. You may not be able to influence things that you did in the past. But right now, you can start sowing seeds for a better future. That's what I learned while going through 26 years in prison. And once you start architecting that path, you simultaneously start to restore confidence and build strength. That's what I learned, and I have a duty to share that with you. These are not lessons that I created on my own. They're lessons that I learned from leaders, and I'm grateful to those leaders, and I'm grateful to you for being a member of our community. My name is Michael Santos, and I believe in you, and I hope that you will continue to find value in the Prison Professors programs. I hope that if you're outside and you're listening to this on iTunes or watching on YouTube, that you will subscribe to our channels and share our messaging with anybody who is living in struggle, because there's a pathway to make it through, and I strive to share those strategies and stories with as many people as possible. Thank you so much, and have a happy Thanksgiving.